Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our December 19th school board meeting of board directors for Waynesboro Area School District. This will be our final meeting for 2023. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Good evening once again, and we will start with roll call.
Ms. Zimmerman,
Here.
Ms. Straight,
Here.
Dr. Royer,
Here.
Mr. Marvin,
Here.
Mr. Hamburg,
Here.
Ms. Miles,
Here.
excuse me, Ms. Fordney, Mr. Pence,
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here. Okay, and first item is to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any approved? This item is to approve the minutes from our last meeting, which was December 5th. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Any questions, comments? Okay.
Yes, I think we need to amend it. I'm trying to find it. There was one moment where we had the same person, I believe.
It was amended.
You amended? All right, perfect. Thank you. I'm good.
What was I'm sorry, because I didn't catch the first and the second one.
Patty and Wendy. Yeah, Patty.
Mhm. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, move to superintendent's report. Dr. Cernan.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Smith. So obviously, all our buildings have been very busy with a series of choral and band performances, including the chamber choir that performed today at Rotary. I believe WAMS does have their concert this evening. The 21st is our last day prior to the break. December 22nd was scheduled as a snow makeup day, but since we have not had inclement weather, at this point, we are in a position where we have one more snow makeup day, which would be February 19th. And then anytime after that, we would be rolling into what we've approved as FID days. Want to offer a huge congratulations to Mr. Mark Smith for his selection to join the 2024 International Education Study Group. And this particular cohort will include 11 school directors from across the state of Pennsylvania, as well as 4 administrators. And this group was selected from an amazing number of applicants from PSBA, and WAC is very excited that Mr. Smith will be able to enjoy and join this first ever project. So big congratulations. Also, beginning on January 1st, the Waynesbury School District is participating in the Giant Companies they're inviting the customers to do the project that's referred to as feeding school kids by rounding up at the register. So we've done it in the past. And so essentially what will happen, I'll be sending information out, I believe on Thursday or Friday, but every time that anyone in our community goes to Martin's here in Waynesboro, if they ask you if you would like to round up, that particular roundup will go to the Waynesbury School District. And they will actually match up to $100,000. So basically encourage all your friends and family. And to be more specific, we want to make sure that there's an understanding that these are restricted funds that must be linked to WASD food service, as well as any additional efforts to feed our students. So yes, that's an exciting, and it's actually running from January 1st to March 31st. So, and we will be sending information out. So very excited. Oh, and the other thing, I'm not sure, I believe there's some board members. We also had the opportunity to participate and to view the Franklin Learning Center rocking around the Christmas show spectacular. It was an absolutely outstanding event at the Franklin Learning Center. And also that same week, members of superintendents in Franklin County, as well as the high school principals, had the opportunity to have a special meal that was prepared by career tech students in culinary arts. So Busy week.
always good.
That's always good. Thank you.
Thank you. And no public comment this evening. So we move to student board report. Welcome back, Mary and Alexis.
Sorry we weren't here last time. Honestly, we wanted to meet the new members, but darn. I can definitely say that we've had a very busy week as well with starting up with break and everything. This past Friday and Saturday, we had the Nutcracker performance by Ambi Studio. I was able to attend on Saturday, and I can definitely say they all did an amazing, great job. Everybody was amazing. And then on Sunday, we had a performance by the WASD band at their winter concert, which I've also heard amazing things about. And then we also have basketball season starting up, which is amazing. They've been doing great. I'm blessed to be able to attend the boys games as a cheerleader, and I can definitely say we have a great season ahead of us. I wasn't able to talk about this last time, but Fairview did their Christmas caroling at Washes. I was able to help out. They were really adorable. I will say that much. And I was actually able to watch my friend's cousin go around caroling. Now let me tell you, she loves my friend's boyfriend. It's the funniest thing ever. She was adorable. But NHS also had their candy sales, which I was sadly not able to participate in. But I heard they did really well. And it ended today. Well, it ends tomorrow. And then this week and last week we were having our Christmas spirit wear, which it's a lot of fun. Like last week was Twinkle Tuesday or Tinsel Tuesday, something like that, but went around wearing Christmas lights. Dressed up as your favorite character. I went around in a Stitch pajama set. Don't judge.
No judgment here.
And then obviously Pack the House night is coming up, which I'm excited about. I like Pack the House. It's a lot of fun. And then winter formal. I'm excited. I'm really excited actually. Because I don't want to wait till prom, I want to go have fun, dress up. Mr. Marvin gets it.
Hey, and Mrs. Fortney, we're ready
That's
with the
right.
Christmas.
I
Yeah.
got my decorations
Yeah.
today.
Yes.
And then obviously winter break this Friday. I'm excited. I don't want to go to school. Not that I don't like school. I do like my classes actually. I just don't want to wake up at 6:30 in the morning. That's it.
Thank you, ladies.
That's it.
Right. Appreciate that. Move to board reports. Okay, policy committee, anything?
So we met, I believe was it last week, Dr. Royer?
Yes.
Clarifying, yeah, so there was, several items that we reviewed at that time. I had actually sent out in the Friday folder, and I also provided some, feedback from our school psychologist that we have had, a parent within our community asking if we would entertain the idea of essentially changing the enrollment, age for kindergarten. So I had asked for feedback from the board. I did provide information from our school psychologist. We looked primarily at the adjustments that we had to make for suicide prevention. And other than that, Dr. Royer, I'm not sure if we covered any other topics.
Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, and academic? Okay, no academic.
We don't meet until January.
January, okay. Facilities?
Facilities has not met, but as you all probably saw in the Friday folder, last meeting, we gave the approval to the maintenance and facilities team to purchase a new box truck with the upper limit of 35,000. Mr. Adams went out and wheeled and dealed and got us a pretty sweet new ride. But we're very thankful for him and the work that he has done. I know nothing about cars other than I hope that it works. Is kind of how I run my own car, but he seems like he got a pretty good deal on this new box truck. Seems as far as I know, lightly used, much newer than what we currently have, and worked with the dealer, and I'm very thankful to this dealer and working with the school district as well. So a big thank you to Mr. Adams and his team for all the work that went into that.
All right, and budget?
And then budget, both facilities and budget will meet, picking up in January. Budget did not meet in December, but starting in January is kind of the big period is, hopefully we know more, from the state. Is kind of why we didn't meet in December, because there's nothing new from the state in December. So we're hoping we have some more information with the new year, from the state, and that's what we'll meet monthly then, starting from January into May. Kind of the plan for budget team, budget committee.
Okay, thank you. Move to our first business item, which is.
Can I make a personal report?
Sure, yes, sir.
Last Saturday, I attended the Pennsylvania School Board Association training for rookies. And we had an excellent presentation from a financial expert.
Thanks.
I didn't have an eraser to throw at him, but he did an excellent job. Of course, I understand our job is more policy than service delivery, but I sat through probably 7 hours of discussion and I did not hear the word education once. It was all about process and leadership and so on. And quite frankly, I think our job is to deliver an excellent education. Of course, you know, the quote General Patton, amateurs talk tactics and professionals talk logistics. And it's our job to deliver the logistics to the teachers and administration to do their job. But I would have enjoyed someone actually talking about what our job really is, which is to educate the young people.
Thank you. Appreciate that. First item, student waiver.
Yes, Mr. Smith and Board, I don't know if anyone has any questions about those. These were, again, I put on the Friday folder with the notes that were there. 2 of them were building consequences administered, and then another one was a temporary adjustment and placement for the one learner. So,
Okay. All right, second,
Second.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I just need a little education on this. What is Twilight?
so Twilight is it's an after-school program, Mr. Hamburger. So, Mr. Hamburger, it's a 3 to 5 o'clock, and it's staffed with WASH's faculty, and we have learners there that may not. It's kind of a consequence to come after school. Sometimes it's a flexible thing. A learner may go during the day and may go to Twilight, or depending on the offense of the policy offense, they may not come during the day, but the consequence is to go after school. So oftentimes parents have to make arrangements for transportation and so forth for that individual to be there after school. And they're still required to do the work. A lot of it is on Apex, so it's a computerized program, but there's teachers there to support them through that process.
Okay, so they're
And-
still getting an education.
Yes, sir.
And then what is Inspire?
So Inspire is a program that's we have at elementary school that is utilized to help students that maybe have kind of social, emotional. There's a component to it that has a counseling component to it. So it's not when they go to that program, they get academics. There's a teacher, there are teachers there, but then there's also a counseling component to the program to help students kind of adjust to regulate, so we can help provide a education to them, better.
Right. Thank you.
So we're to, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So, and
Back
if
to
I
you
could just
with-
add, Mr. Amber, so like oftentimes, just like adults, we get, if we're not, it's hard to teach a child that's having a lot of emotional, so we want to try to help regulate kids emotionally, counsel, to get them back down, to regulate them, to be able to do a better job. It's like a kid coming to school that's hungry. It's hard to teach a kid that's hungry all the time because they're thinking about because they're hungry, right? So they're not going to learn as well. We need to take care of those physical needs first to help to educate them better. The same way mentally and emotionally also. So that's what Inspires for.
Okay. Back to you, Dr. DeShong, for personnel.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Smith. So you'll notice in the pack, we have a number of personnel recommendations we're asking you to approve this evening. There are a number of resignations there from our special education, para-education world, and we thank those folks for their service. A couple of them are from Maui, but we thank them for being there. We have a few reassignments. There's actually 4 of them there. That current assignments listed to the new assignment that we're asking for your approval for. I know that I believe it was last month, Mr. Erickson, we lost 2 good folks in the tech department, and we have 2 of them taking over there, Mr. Jason George, and then we have Isaac Warner also stepping in for the tech positions there. And then we also want to thank Ms. Cassandra Horn for her service in the art department. And she's going to be moving to another position, but she is resigning, and we just, I believe, posted that position today. And we'll go through the process of looking for a new art educator. We have another reassignment position in the support staff, and then there's a number of folks we're asking for your approval for after-school program staff.
The motion is to approve the personnel as listed.
I'll move.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Dr. Holzman, bus van drivers.
Yes, sir. It's a very short list today. Just one additional driver here for your approval. They've met all the requirements for being a driver.
Move to approve.
Excuse me.
Second.
Okay, any questions for Dr. Holzman? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, just one more we had, then we had last week. Thank you, for good service. Okay, the food service department, charge policy, Dr. Holzman.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So we have an update on the food service charge policy. Most of what you see in the charge policy is all driven through either federal or state regulations, but there's a new update as well, and that's the last section. So the new requirement is that any positive balances have to follow a set criteria. So you can see what we pretty much do here in terms of, we try to transfer those funds to other family members. We'll talk to them and see if they would like to donate the outstanding funds. But ultimately, really the important part in this whole thing is that after 3 years, if we cannot find them, if they have not taken the money, if they've left the district in the area and we just cannot get the funds returned to them, then we have to take those funds regardless of the amount. It could be 1 cent. We have to send it over to the PA Treasury unclaimed funds. So we just have to have that
Yeah,
documented as part of.
that's the Sheets law, yeah.
So it's a lot of work sometimes for very little money because, somebody leaves the district and they have a quarter on there and you're trying to, you have to get approval. You can't just arbitrarily move the money over. You have to get telephonic works, but.
So the motion is to approve an update to the food service department charge policy. Is the motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Any questions, Dr. Holzman? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The next item is PSBA Principles for Governance and Leadership.
This is the stuff we got beat into our heads first.
So this information was shared in the Friday folder, and I believe hard copy as well. So essentially what we're doing tonight is looking, reviewing it one more time from the perspective that from this particular document, it talks about Pennsylvania school boards are committed to providing every student, and we also call them learners here, the opportunity to grow and achieve. Their actions taken by the board ultimately have both short and long-term impact on the classrooms. Therefore, school board directors collectively and individually will. And then there's a series of statements. When what we've done in the past is at the very end of the meeting, essentially for all in agreement, Elizabeth has a larger poster size version of it, and we will sign it. We've signed it in the past, and actually it's be posted as well in the back. So I don't know if anyone has any specific questions or concerns, but I guess I'm asked if the board would consider signing and having it posted here as our commitment, not only to each other as a board, as board members, but as to the Waynesbury School District and our learners.
I'll make that motion because these are just common sense leadership principles.
So, yeah, the motion is to approve PSBA principles for governance and leadership.
Okay.
Oh, so second, any questions for Dr. Sternstein? Comments?
Have we ever done like personalized this to our district, or do we usually? The SBA?
We have not. I mean, it's a relatively new document, but we can definitely look at a personalized version. I mean, nothing's preventing us from doing that. And like I said, I think we look at the copyright, we're looking at 2018. So that's something we could explore doing perhaps in the future if we agree today, and then perhaps looking at how we could tweak it to make it more related to the Waynesbury School District. Yeah, I'm not in charge.
For us to be included, in the statistics for Pennsylvania of the number of districts that support that, we have to use that version. This came up last time, but there was also discussion at that time to come up with like a secondary document. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, to that, but, I do think that part of it is PSBA being able to say that, you know, 300 and some, I don't know the number, but it's a high number of boards that approve that.
So ultimately, this is like a board document here, but you know, we do have the WASD comprehensive plan, which essentially is the, you know, the workings of what we do day to day. So, I mean, that like as, I don't know what it's supposed to call. Lloyd had commented that Mr. Lloyd had commented. These are essentially items that we, you know, leadership common sense, but then from the perspective that whether or not it's really related to the Waynesbury School District collectively, that's perhaps most reflected in our collective plans, our comprehensive plans, as well as our school level plan.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I move to Lincoln Learning Network.
That's me, Mr. Smith. Currently our Lincoln Learning Network contract is up for renewal. What that is essentially our internet access, which is provided through IU12, and also our intra building links that connect all of our buildings back to the high school and connect them all together are up for renewal. What I'm asking for is approval for Dr. Sternerheim and myself to sign the letter of intent to continue with the LLN for the next 5 years, starting in 24-25. This includes bandwidth upgrades, the addition of Alma's Beneficial House into the contract, rather than having business class internet there, and pretty much keeps the cost for all of those links and our internet at a pretty minimal cost increase each year. Currently, we're paying approximately $28,700 a year after E-rate for all of these links and our internet. The first year, starting in 24-25, comes to about $31,200 after E-rate a year. And at the end of that contract in 28-29, it goes up to $32,000 $28,800 after E-rate a year. During the length of the contract, it only increases about $1,500, which keeps that cost pretty stagnant. So that also includes 500 megs of internet as well for the district. So I'm asking for approval for Dr. Sternenheim to sign the letter of intent to participate in this LLN network for the next 5 years. And if that is approved, the actual contract, we will get board approval for that on January 9th or the second meeting in January for you.
Just a question.
Yes.
What's E-rate?
Well,
Where did I step in it?
so E-rate, the 30-second overview, for all of your phone bills, your cable bills, there's a charge on there at every household. If you have that in your cell phone bill, universal access charge, which goes into a fund that the FCC regulates. And as a school district or library, we then have the ability to submit for a discount on items such as internet and infrastructure equipment. And our discount rate is usually based on our free and reduced lunch count. So our current rate is 80%. So if something costs $100, we're paying roughly $20 for it. So it is a fund that is actually funded through everybody that has a cell phone, your telephone, your cable bill, satellite bill, and so forth.
So it's
I can
basically
talk
a
to you
discount.
for hours about this.
No, but it's basically a discount rate.
Yes, that is correct.
So I'm gonna go ahead and do the motion, and then we'll have questions after we do that. So first, the motion is to approve the LLN 5, and this is all like in another language to me, right? Right?
Motion. Yeah.
We're
You want me to
relying-
read it for you, Mr. Smith?
We'll rely on our experts here. The motion, okay. Do we have a motion?
Don't move.
Somebody moved.
And I seconded. And she seconded.
Second, okay. Questions?
Just a clarification for Mr. Erickson, when it
Yes.
comes to budget time, we have to budget before E-rate, even though we pay at the E-rate price. Is that correct, Mr. Erickson?
Yes, so for E-rate, I did forget to mention that we do have to budget for the full amount of E-rate. But then we, obviously just pay that discount rate. The full amount, because there are some things that are not eligible and that's built into this price. So the full amount is roughly right around about $100,000 a year that it would cost us.
So then when it comes to budget time in January, you're gonna see that larger number. But just keep in mind that this is what we're paying as a district, even though we have to budget for that higher cost.
That's a phone number. basically.
Yep. Mhm.
Goes against-
Thanks for pointing it out, Mr. Marvin.
Mhm. Any other questions? Translations needed here, layman's terms.
If anybody wants to hear about E-rate, I'm more than happy to talk about it.
This appears to be a good price.
All right.
Shut up, Lloyd and Burke.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you very much.
So next, motion to approve second reading of policy 105 curriculum.
Yeah, so it is, it's a reading of policy curriculum, but it's more specifically, it's referencing the resource material. So if you notice that, the actual policy is in there, and then we have a series of, administrative regulations, to essentially go along with the policy. So the recommendation is to approve, the policy as well as the administrative regulations included.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Questions? Comments? Okay.
Just, once this is approved, where can folks find it? Where is it posted?
Okay, so it goes through a process that once it's formally approved here, Elizabeth takes care of, working through board docs and PSBA. And eventually it is posted within, the board docs under policies. And then within that, the ARs are obviously, oftentimes we don't necessarily have to attach them to the policy. But my recommendation is that we're going to go ahead and attach them to the policy. They're going to have to be formatted a little differently. And then also those ARs would be shared, with, the administration. Most recently, Elizabeth and I, when we do our weekly update, we've included every new policy that we've adopted as well as the administrative regulations. And I want to give a big shout out to both Mr. Weatherall as well as Ms. States, who've been big part of the policy committee. So
Dr. Sternheim, I would think that maybe the AR0 that outlines the new criteria for selecting resource materials might go in teacher handbooks
absolutely.
for
Mhm,
24,
mhm,
25.
Yeah.
I know you guys always start that list, right? Jason?
Everything that goes in a handbook, absolutely. And an interesting thing is, from our perspective, if the policy is passed, what we can do, our handbooks from a teacher perspective, is, are very fluid nowadays. So essentially, we
Oh,
can
yeah.
add it. We don't necessarily do
Have
the
to
hard
wait.
copy. We just essentially will add it. And we've done that from time to time with, our parent-student handbook as well, like over the course of last year when we made some changes to dress code. So, the ability to make those changes this year is probably,
That's great.
in preparation for the budget, obviously, would definitely be helpful. Good point.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, next, next item, retirement of policies.
Yes, Mr. Smith, these are, we're looking to vote to retire two policies. Number 107, adoption of planned instruction, use terminology that we don't use as a district. We don't use the term planned instruction, we use curriculum. And also everything within 107, is included within 105 and 105.1 in the curriculum policies. 255, is basically being retired because it's now part of a new policy 251.
All right, so motion is to approve the retirement of the policies 107 and 255.
Move to approve. Second.
Any questions for Dr. Roy? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. The next one, we're looking for first reading, and this was the majority of the work of the last, committee meeting, was, the first reading of policy 819 to suicide awareness, prevention, response. Big thanks to Mrs. States for working on the groundwork for this one, with Dr. Sterner-Hein. The biggest changes in this is just a lot of definitions, to really make the, policy a lot more explicit, and easy to understand, and then just some language changes. This came from our recommendations from PSBA.
And this is just for discussion. Any questions for Dr. Roy? Move to financial business, purchase orders and bills for payment. Do you want to combine the two or?
Sure, it's really, and
ahead.
really just the first one's the action on this one, sir. Sorry about that. So, for number one, then it's, the purchase orders. These are the requisitions which will become purchase orders upon approval by the board. And then we also have the, bills for payment. Those are both for the cafeteria fund, which operates separately from the general fund itself. Historically, what we've always done is, and this is just kind of a legacy, format, is we have a summary level and then we have a more detailed level because they provide two different levels of information between account numbers and then actual, a little bit more materials, so. Yep, that's it. The other one's just, I'm sorry, year-to-date revenue and expenditure report.
Okay. And so there a motion to approve the purchase orders and year-to-date revenue expenditure report.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions for Dr.? Okay,
I had a question. It looks like we're using Amazon like better. Does that look easy or?
We do it for a couple different reasons. Sometimes it's because of convenience factor and making sure we can get the materials we need in a timeliness manner. A lot of times I think schools used to operate under the format where they would try to order everything that they needed in August, for example. And what we've tried to do is say, let's order things whenever you actually need them and use them. That way they don't get lost or forgotten and things of that nature. But we did set up a process with that. It goes through an approval process, so it goes through the building principals themselves. They would go ahead, or the department heads like Mr. Erickson, they would go ahead and review them first. Then it comes in through the business office itself also, and we approve that. So, and then we tie that back into their account numbers and go through a reconciliation process.
Questions? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Move down to Clayton Cabinet comments.
I just wanted to, you guys have your, invitation for the board dinner on, the 23rd of January. So please mark that in your calendars. Look forward to a nice evening. So, and I just want to, just tell everyone we appreciate the opportunity. Actually, we had a nice group be able to go to the SAS conference here last week, and it was an extremely beneficial conference with lots of sessions that were just very pertinent to first choice all around. And one of the big things I know that we're looking to begin really undertaking here are the still science standards. There's always something going on, right, Mr. Smith, in education all the time. There's something new, something coming up, new curriculum, new standards. We got math we're looking at right now. There's always something happening going on, and the still science standards are nothing, that's one of our new endeavors that we're going to be tackling. So we have a team of folks, we're gathering together. And we're having our first meeting. I know some were upset, but we're doing it actually on Thursday from 3 to 4. But it will be short. It won't be no more than an hour. Like I'm thinking this meeting may not be. So, but thank you very much. SAS was a great conference.
Okay, board, any comments from board?
I have something. I had asked to do site visits to each one of the schools since I couldn't rearrange things for work. I just want to thank, so far I've been to all elementary schools and I appreciate the warm welcome from everybody. Each one has its own culture and it's really neat to see. Diane out at Hooverville, I could feel her positive energy. I mean, it's really, you walk in and feel it. And it was neat to see how she had in certain classrooms with utilizing paras to decrease kind of like group size. Like I really thought that was good. Then I went to Maori, and that's actually where I went to elementary school. So that was kind of nostalgic. I was walking down the hall and I was like, I threw up there. I didn't think that was it. But with Jason, his honesty on, it's really easy to say like everything's rainbow and butterflies, but he quickly it was easy for him to say like, we need to work on this, we need to work on that. And the way that he talked about recruitment and retention as being important, I think is a big thing nowadays. This morning I went to Summit View, really good. The bluntness of the staff and the teachers there kind of showed that there's a good culture, and in a good culture, people speak up. So I kind of really enjoyed that. Like sometimes it's like, whoa, that person said that, but I think that's good for us. And then this afternoon, I went to Fairview where my kids go, and to see the different problems there, just like the flexibility because of the transient students and everything there, it was like I didn't even know that. So I thought her ideas on how to bring like the lower performing students up, great. So big thanks.
Thank you. Any other board member? Thank you, sir. I just want to close. Anyone? Okay, I thought I wanted to and Dr. Sterner alluded to this about the Germany trip. So I kind of got an early Christmas gift, if you will, with the news that I would be traveling, not on vacation or anything like that, because they said we'll be meeting like 3 times a day with the folks there. And so, but this is kind of like full circle for me because when I went into public education, I've been working in public education since I left college at 20, whatever. And so all of my most of my adult years, I've worked in public education in probably about 4 different states. So this is kind of, and one of the reasons why I was kind of like a nomad, if you will, going from you know, where the wind, where I was led, I would think, you know, I was led to a particular place, is because I was always interested in seeing a different way in which people learn, right? And this is kind of like the combination of I've seen a lot of mostly everything that there is in the United States as far as the educational process, from elementary to college, but looking at something in a different culture, different country is, I think, something that can be used to what are they doing well? What can be used here? Is it something that they're doing that can benefit the Waynesboro area school district and even beyond that? One of the things I'm interested in is the whole program, the part we have here where we talk about the help me out, the initiative to first choice. Right.
I was like, "Ooh, what else are we doing here?"
There's always an acronym or
Yeah.
initiative, but what they're doing, they are sort of a little bit ahead when it comes to preparing students from a very early age to move in the direction that they're interested in and not pigeonholing kids in a particular area or saying to this group, all of you are going to go to college, you know, and there's no variation, no differences and that sort of thing. So it'll be interesting to bring back any information to be able to help and even like leave the bad, bring the good, or get the good. And I think there's bad and good in a little bit of everything. And it'll be really an honor to be able to go with other board directors, but there'll be some school administrators as well along on the trip. So very excited about that, and always will advocate and bring the perspective of the Waynesboro area too, because we are in a unique area in a unique period of time. So I think it sounds like fun, folks. So any other comments?
While we're talking about selections, Dr. Sternerheim was selected as the Distinguished Alumni for Shippensburg College this past year. So I'm not sure when your address was, but it was recently, right?
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Just congratulate her on that honor.
Thank you. I was one of 3.
Okay.
She's got picked, yes.
Congratulations, Dr.
Thank you.
Sternerheim. And yeah, we're fortunate to have the hardest working superintendent in Franklin County. All right, so let's close it out. We have a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Thank you, folks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?